Hi Stampers, I'm Meg from Loven Stamps, and I'm really excited to share projects with you this month because I got to pull out my Spectrum ink pad, and if you haven't seen these guys before, they actually come uninked from Stampin Up, and then you can ink them in whatever custom colors you want. So for Stamps in the Mail Club this month, we are featuring the Broadway Birthday stamp set and a series of cards that use the Spectrum pad for a whole bunch of different techniques and cool tools and things like that. So here's the card I'm going to show you in this video, and I am really excited about the way the rainbow pad comes together to make these really fun hooray images. They're really bright and celebratory, right? So grab your Stamps in the Mail Club kit and your Spectrum pad, and let me give you some tips and tricks on putting cards like this together. All right, so before we go ahead and do our project, I just want to give you a really quick lesson on inking a Spectrum pad. So they come uninked from Stampin' Up, as I said, and when you first get them, they're just white like this, and you're going to add your own re-inker to them. So I have another video that talks about how I picked the colors and how I set them up, so you can watch for that one. But I just want to show you here how you add color to it. So I have my classic re-inker, and of course these come in all the Stampin' Up colors. And the color I need to add is Lemon Lime Twist here. So what I'm going to do is just squeeze out ink. I know that inking stamp pads makes people really nervous, so it's a really common question. How do I re-ink my pad or ink it in the first place? So basically what I do is I keep dribbling ink on here. So I'm squeezing as I move. I'm trying to keep the ink spread out, and I go until I can press the tip of my inker in. So I'm not squeezing the ink anymore, I'm just using it as a testing tool. And when I press it in, do you see how the ink pad surface gets shiny? That's because the ink is welling up underneath my re-inker. So that is just about perfect. I love it. And I find that I get a really nice image with the pads when I ink them just that way. So, all right. We have our finished pad here that I'm going to use, and before I go ahead and do my first stamping, I want to talk a little bit about this hooray image. It is a really sweet image. It is at an angle. So like if you look here square on the top, like wish of course is square on here, this hooray is meant to go uphill. So the text is skewed one direction, the angle of the text is skewed the other direction. So we're gonna talk about keeping it straight. What I did is I mounted it so that the image is centered top to bottom on my block. And so when I stamp here on my cardstock, I'm gonna go ahead and squish my Spectrum pad together. I'm going to keep my block straight as I go down the page. That way I don't end up like having a tendency to tilt or change the angle. Okay, I'm gonna focus on the straightness of my block. And I can even use my grid paper here to keep that straight. Now when I ink my stamp, I'm stamping it just here on the portion of my pad that doesn't include the black. That's just a little stronger than I want. So I'm gonna stamp it, and if I need to squish back and forth a little to even out the ink on my stamp, I'm going to do that by going up and down on the pad, not left right, because I don't want to mix those colors between the pads any more than necessary. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this again, and again, like I said, I'm keeping my block straight as I march down the paper. Now, because of the way the stamp is set, it's going to have a tendency to want to migrate across like this. Don't do that. Make sure your Y is at the same spot each time. And of course, if you wanted to, you could use your stamparatus to stamp this guy over and over again and get it exactly at the same angle every single time. Okay? All right, so there we have our hooray. Oh, and you know what? Actually, I'm pretty sure that's the UPS guy bringing me a box of Stampin' Up stuff. But I'll be right back. Yes, of course, through the magic of television, I can show you. It was a Stampin' Up box with things from the celebration and the occasions catalog. These are coming up on January 3rd. So, excuse me, make sure you contact me. If you haven't already requested a catalog from your demonstrator, you don't have a demonstrator and you need one, I'd be happy to get one to you. And if you're one of my customers already, don't worry, your catalogs will be coming in the mail sometime sort of mid-December, so watch for those. And this I'm going to ink in the pink and black, the lipstick and the black, so I'm going to go ahead and get it inked right here on the end of the pad, and then I like to leave my pad open when I sort of walk away from it. or when I'm not using it, just to keep those colors as fresh as possible. Stamping upside down on pre-die cut pieces is always a good idea. So I'm going to press my die cut down, whoo, and then have our party hat. So really super sweet. I'm going to pop a mini dimensional here on the back of that little party hat. Pop him on my black scallop circle. Going to use another dimensional to pop this onto my piece of gold glimmer paper, and then cut some tail, some party tail here, banner tail ends to my little piece of glimmer, and then take my lipstick cardstock, fold this in half, add some snail adhesive to the back of my card, layer our rainbow stamping there. This designer series paper is from that same Broadway Lights series, which I love, this black and gold together. I'm going to layer this here to the side of my card. And finally, I'm going to pop our banner onto our card down here near the bottom. And actually I think I'm going to make the tail just a little shorter. I think it was quite a bit shorter on my sample. There we go. All right. And pop that baby on. So there we go. So gotta love these Spectrum pads. They're so much fun to work with, and they really take a lot of the, the scariness out of colors. Just grab any neat paper that you like from the Stampin' Up! Catalog. Use that to pick your colors to make your Spectrum pad. Watch the tutorial again on how to ink it and get stamping yourself. So this Broadway Birthday is a really terrific stamp set for working with Spectrum pads. I just think it's a nice match because the style and the sort of happy factor is a really nice one. So can't wait to see what you can come up with for your Spectrum pads. If you liked the video, be sure and leave me a comment on my YouTube channel or my blog post, and let me know what you'd like to see next. So if you need a Stamps in the Mail Club kit, they are available on my website, lovenstamps.com, and you can request your kit through December, and then January I'll have a new one, so don't wait too long. I look forward to stamping with you soon. Thanks for watching.